Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Hamza Chowdhury, and today I'm speaking with none other than the genius behind Genius Juice, Alex Baer, coming from you from Santa Monica, California. Before we get into the interview, I'd like to ask a favor of you. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, it really does help support the channel, where I hope to bring more useful content for you guys. Let's get started. Hi Alex, welcome to the channel.
Thanks, Hamza. Thanks for having me on your show.
So, Alex, I have known you for many years. So we go back actually all the way when we were freshmen at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. We've had a ton of fun. We've gone through a lot. And one thing that I've known about you, you've always had these ideas, business ideas and things like that. And what I want to know is, where does you sort of getting all these ideas and wanting to start businesses and you know the success that you've had, where does that root from?
You know, I've always been an entrepreneur for as long as I can remember. And since even when I was like 13 years old, I would trade Star Wars figures on eBay, back when eBay was much more popular. And I'm just like, you know what? I got the bug. I love selling and buying, you know, making money. And I figured I was actually making more money than most of my friends were making, you know, in middle school. So I'm like, man, that's a great way to, you know, kind of get into business, but it's also fun. It's a passion. So from there, I went, you know, that's where we met in college. And my freshman year in college, I even got into a business of selling pagers and cell phones.
Yes, I remember.
And you remember that. I think I tried to sell you a pager.
Yes, you did.
There's only two people that buy pagers. That's drug dealers and doctors, you know. So I quickly found out that was not a good business, but it really rooted from just a passion to really have freedom and do whatever I wanted to do and control my destiny. And that's really kind of the impetus of where I wanted to get into business for myself and I'm the only one that can make myself successful, right? No one else holds my fate. I hold my own fate.
Yeah, and that's many reasons why we want to become business owners, is we want to have more control of our lives and not let others decide our fate. So one of the things is that you've, like you mentioned, have been involved with several business ideas of the past. The question that I have, and some of our viewers may have, is how do you sort of evaluate an idea and see if that can actually be turned into an actual business?
Well, I think the first thing it really comes down to is that, will consumers actually want to buy this product? That's what it's rooted in. You can create a lot of different products, but if it's not going to sell, there's no reason to create them. So creating, you know, Genius Juice, it came from a personal passion where I wanted to see a better smoothie on the market. And also we're the first to blend the entire coconut, the water and also the meat. But at the end of the day, the product has to be good, it has to taste good, and it has to be also beneficial and healthy for the end consumer. So when creating a product, that's the first thing I think of is, will this product actually sell on the market? Will this product get traction? And can we actually scale this company?
Wow, that's great. I mean, that's great advice. So I guess, and you mentioned Genius Juice, which is the purpose sort of this interview, is how was Genius Juice discovered? And honestly, how did you come up with such a great name? Like, that's such a catchy name, Genius Juice, right? That's not something you're going to forget. It stands out. So how did you discover it? And then how did you come up with the name?
Well, it was in 2013. I was after selling insurance for 7 years with Aflac, and it's actually funny. We're in Santa Monica, right? The state office is one block from here on 2nd Street. That's where I used to go for like trainings. So after doing Aflac, I sold copiers, and then from there, I wanted to get into something new, something that was a personal passion of mine. So a friend invited me over for dinner, and he and his wife were cooking me food, vegan dinner, and for dessert, they cracked open a young Thai coconut. And they scooped out the meat and the water, and then they blended it, and they put it into a glass. And I remember, like, it was like bright white, like shiny, vibrant, creamy, like what Genius Juice is today, but it didn't exist at that time, whole coconut. And I tasted the product, and they said, oh, it's a coconut smoothie. I'm like, I've never had a coconut smoothie. I've only had coconut water. And so I tasted it, and the first words out of my mouth were, this is genius. Like, this idea of blending the entire coconut and like much better than coconut water, I got to come up with this idea. So that's where the name Genius Juice originated from.
Oh wow, that's a great story. That's awesome. So, wasn't expecting to start a business, hanging out at a friend's house, and bam, there comes a business idea. So one of the things too is that most of you guys might recognize Alex. He was actually featured on Shark Tank, and I think a lot of us watching at home, an entrepreneurial's dream is to be able to be broadcasted on national television in front of millions of people where they can learn about your product. Essentially it's free marketing. And then what we hear, at least as viewers, is that, once you're on Shark Tank, you have explosive growth, whether or not you get a deal with the sharks. Can you just sort of tell us maybe just briefly, like, how did you get on Shark Tank, and just describe your experience with Shark Tank for those who are maybe interested and just curious?
Well, the first thing that a lot of people don't know, and it's when someone succeeds at something, you think it's right away. It's usually a overnight success after 10 years of really, really hard work. For us, it was 5 years. I auditioned for Shark Tank 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, 2014 in LA, again in San Francisco, and then I flew out to Salt Lake City. And finally on my 4th audition, which was at a casino, that's where they held it. I guess I like poker, so I was at home. They approved me, and I passed the audition, and I went on to the next steps. So that's really the first thing, is like, for any entrepreneurs out there that are auditioning for Shark Tank, you go on their website, ABC Shark Tank, you can find out when they're auditioning. But if you get rejected the first time as an entrepreneur, never give up. Keep going, you will get in. And ours is a story that shows persistence really can pay off. So 4th time, got approved, went to the next round, and eventually went to 3 more rounds, and then finally got on the show. So we taped the show in the summer of 2019, and then we officially aired on January 19th, if I'm correct, 2020 of this year. So it was amazing. We had over 3 million viewers. Wow. that saw the show. Shark Tank can backfire though if the sharks don't like the product. Like if they taste it and drink it and like, oh my God, this is terrible, I can never, then actually it could hurt your business versus actually helping it. Luckily though, and I don't think lucky, I think we worked really hard on the product, all 5 sharks love the product. So that really resonated through to the viewers at home. And within 24 hours after airing on Shark Tank, we did over 100,000 in online sales, not counting store sales, just online, Amazon and geniusjuice.com. And then within 2 weeks, we did $250,000 in online sales.
Wow.
So it was amazing growth, overnight scaling. Online in 2019, we had a total of $30,000 in sales for the entire year. We broke that within 1 hour. After airing on Shark Tank.
Do they tell you when you go on Shark Tank to expect that? Is that something that you guys are ready for? Because a lot of times as business owners, let's say we got this explosive growth, but are you ready for it? Are you ready for those thousands of orders to come in, or are you going to cave into the pressure and just sort of quit and tell your customers you ran out of product or you can't deliver? So how did you sort of anticipate and get ready for this massive scale? Because that's not easy. That's not an easy operation to do overnight. So
we got lucky, to be honest, because with our product, we have a fresh, organic product. So we can't just, make containers of them and like keep them in storage for months. We make our product fresh, and then we send it out online and also to the stores. So the timing was everything. If I can tell you this, if Shark Tank aired in December, we would have not had the product. Luckily, and also they don't give you a lot of notice on when you're going to air. They give you like less than a month's notice. So we turned around very quickly in January, and like 2 or 3 weeks before airing, we produced product. So the cool thing about it was we had enough inventory to support the exposure from the show. Plus we were shipping out the freshest product, best tasting, freshest product for all the consumers. So they got this really good first impression of our product and our brand.
And for some of you guys who watched that episode, you did get a deal, which is awesome. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. I'm sure you see that. I don't know. I don't even know the percentage of people who get deals, but it's not a whole lot. So can you explain sort of, I think Mark Cuban and who else was it? Barbara?
Corcoran.
Yeah. So can you explain sort of what happened after the show, after you got a deal?
So yeah, the deal was for, well, it's interesting. One part of the story is that originally, well, Rohan went out, Lori went out, Mr. Wonderful was offering me a debt deal. And I'm like, and I said on the show, like, I'm not interested in debt. And actually he was like, hey, like, pay attention to me. It was actually funny. Like, Mr. Wonderful was trying to get my attention during the show. But Mark Cuban went out, and then Barbara said, I've had bad experiences with beverage deals, but something about this tempts me because I love this product. And they went to commercial and they came back. So she came in for $250,000, but then Mark Cuban, which I've almost never seen, he came back in to the tank. He went out and then came back in and offered us another $250,000. So the deal on the show that closed was for $500,000. But as you probably have heard, and I'm very open about this, we've announced this on our page, that the deal did not go through. Not all deals go through. And it's really because, like, you can make a deal on the show, but when you actually go through the paperwork and the details, it may not be the best fit for both parties. So that was the case. Like, nothing against them. I have all the respect in the world for Shark Tank and Mark Cuban and Barbara and all the other sharks. It just wasn't a fit for our company, and it wasn't a fit for them. So we gracefully bowed out of the deal, and they walked away as well. And we went on to actually raise money outside of Shark Tank. We raised $1.1 million from a round. And what's ironic is that the deal was for $500,000, right? We launched an online crowdfunding campaign through WeFunder, and we raised almost exactly $500,000 on there at better terms.
Wow.
So it all worked out. I mean, I'm very grateful to Shark Tank because we got the exposure from the show, we got the sales, plus we were able to raise money outside of Shark Tank. The other cool detail to mention is that Mark Cuban still orders the product. Now that, like, with quarantine and all that, like, he loves the product.
That's awesome.
During the taping, he actually drank 3 bottles. I thought he would have to get up and go to the bathroom, like, during the taping, right? They didn't show all that in the airing, but he drank 3 bottles. He was, like, just drinking them down, crushing them one after one. And we've delivered 3 times to his home. And they also traveled here to LA and got it delivered to his hotel. So Mark Cuban, if you're watching, man, like, thank you for being a big fan of our product and supporting us. And I love you, man.
That's awesome. I mean, that's incredible. See, these are the things that you wouldn't know as a viewer of the Shark Tank, right? The behind the scenes, that even if you get a deal on Shark Tank, doesn't actually mean that the deal will go through. And it sounds like after the show, you and your business partners and their team looked and decided, hey, you know what? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure Alex learned and was featured and got marketing out of his business. He got something out of it. The Sharks got awareness and interest in a product that, like Barbara said, I'm not going to ever invest in a beverage, and then all of a sudden a product comes along and completely changes her mind. So it sounds like both sides benefited and decided, hey, you know what? And there's nothing wrong with that. Not all deals have to go through. You need to decide if something is a good fit for you. And it sounds like, Alex, I mean, most people, it'd be hard for them to walk away from the Sharks, and I commend you for sticking to your guns and being able to have that confidence to say, you know what, I don't think this is the right deal for me. So I really think that's awesome. So just briefly, let's just talk quickly about how you got here. So you made this product, and did you give it to, like, friends and family to get feedback, and did you make sort of changes to the recipe, or how did you get to, like before, like you said, the Shark Tank? I mean, not everyone's just going to show up to Shark Tank the first day. You said that there was 5 years of work. So let's start from the beginning. Is when you created this recipe, did you sort of have, like, gatherings where you just handed it out and just sort of get feedback, or how did you sort of come up with this recipe?
I'm kind of, I really align with what Steve Jobs said, which is there's really no such thing as a focus group. The focus group is putting it on the market and seeing how people react to it. I mean, Henry Ford, when he asked people, hey, the creator of Ford, what do you want to see on the road? People would say faster horses, So I thought the best way to do it was I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they get, lack of a better word, constipated, and they don't come out with their product because they're so worried about how people are going to receive it in the marketplace. I think follow your gut, let passion drive you, and come out with a product you think will be successful, and just get it on the shelf, and then you can gather feedback from people in action in real time while it's on the shelf. So when we created Genius Juice, we had 7 SKUs, 7 flavors, and 2 sizes. Only one of those flavors survived, which was the original, the one in my hand here. So we learned the hard way, where I think the one thing for any food and beverage entrepreneurs that are listening or watching this, don't overexpand. Don't try to go too crazy. Less is more. We do probably 60% of our sales from one flavor. From one flavor. The other, the mocha and the vanilla cinnamon, we do about 40% combined, but all you really need is 3 to 4 flavors, and you can drive a lot of growth with your business. So that's the most important thing that we learned. It's quality over quantity. So we soon found out what worked, what didn't work. But the other key thing, like another nugget just to walk away with from this show with Hamza, is learn quickly and then pivot very quickly and be very, very nimble and adaptable. So if something is not working, cut it off right away, save money, and then move forward with what's working and drive your growth there.
That's great advice. I mean, how many times have we hung on to a loser, whether it's a business, a stock, an idea, and it's great that you mentioned this word pivoting, which is pivoting is what you need to, in today's world, to survive. How do you survive in a business world where now, for example, we're dealing with COVID, and for example, by some of my businesses, the work from home model, and how do we adapt our businesses to that? So, I mean, great advice. Thank you for sharing that with our audience. So, this whole process that you've talked about, the idea and then putting it to the market, I mean, do you have a mentor? Is somebody showing you the ropes? How do you, if you're someone sitting at home and you have a great idea, like you said, you want to bring it to the market, I mean, where do you get started? Is somebody mentoring you? Do you have someone that you hired as a consultant to kind of show you the ropes? Or how did you get to where you're at today?
Yeah, definitely. We would have not gotten to where we're at today without the right mentors and key people that have come along on our path to really help us grow the business and be successful. One mentor that was actually the chairman of our board, our advisory board, for 2 years, and his name is Jim Tonkin, so I'm sure he'll see this on LinkedIn. He's a CEO of Healthy Brand Builders, and he'll actually be on a show I'm doing. But he's amazing, and he taught me one key thing is inch wide, mile deep. So it's really, really important to not go to too many different stores and focus on the stores where you're going to do best with your product. So Jim Tonkin also helped with Zico, he helped with Suja, he helped with Koya, some pretty big brands. Besides Jim, another event mentor has been Bruce Nierenberg, and he's an investor in our brand and also on our board as well. So I think it's really key, just to find the right people that you align with, in business, but also people that you personally connect with. You want to enjoy the people you work with, right? You want to enjoy working with them. So that's really important. So if you have people as part of your team that either you don't like them, you don't like working with them, or they're toxic to the company culture, cut them out right away and get them out of there and bring people in that you align with and you feel that positive vibe with. That's big advice that I learned along the way, to get the right people for your business and also people that you personally also align with.
That's great advice. So, I mean, we talked about in the past with sour customers and how they can sour the entire tree and create a toxic environment. So that's great advice about recognizing that and, again, getting rid of the problem before it really starts to spread. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that every business owner has out there is hurdles and challenges. So maybe can you, and I'm sure you've had a ton of these, right? Is maybe you could just share 1 or 2 of these hurdles or challenges with the audience and how you sort of overcame them, because it's so easy in today's world, right? Again, to quit, to not be motivated, to not wake up, to be distracted. So can you just share 1 or 2 challenges that you face and how you overcame them?
It's as you're talking, it just gave me this flashback of 2016, and we talked about it a lot on the phone, man. You were helping us through some of those challenges, spiritually and mentally, and you were just really you were on the phone with me and really lifting me up to get through some of the challenges. The biggest challenge that we have faced has not been the product selling. Definitely money has been a challenge in the past. Raising money is extremely hard, and it takes a long time and a lot of energy, and you have to pitch it the right way. But the biggest issue we've had has been manufacturing. This is a real product. I mean, this has coconut water and coconut meat in it, and it's a great product. But the cleaner and more real it is, the harder it is to make. There's a lot of brands out there that use chemicals and preservatives and additives, and it's 95% water or something. It's really, really freaking easy to make those products. With a real product, not as easy. So getting the right supply chain, getting the right co-manufacturer to make this product, but not only make it, but make it in a way with quality. So it's consistent. Every time you open this bottle, you get the same taste, the same experience, the same feeling, and everything, the same texture. We had to align with the right partners to get that. And so we lost a co-manufacturer in 1 year, and we found another one, and we went to another one. So eventually we found our home, and we're very, very happy with our partners now. Both our harvesters in Thailand, plus also our manufacturer here in the United States. But it took probably, 3 or 4 years to even figure out what who the right partners were. And in that process, I mentioned this on Shark Tank, in 2016, we were in about 600 doors, which at that time, now it's not as many, but at that time when we were young, that was a lot of doors. I mean, we were in 6 regions of Whole Foods nationwide. We lost all of our shelf space because we could not produce the product. We were having manufacturing challenges, and we lost everything. A lot of entrepreneurs would have given up. They would have I definitely cried. I was really upset. I didn't know what to do, but I was not hopeless. And my conviction was this product is amazing, and I want to get it on the store shelf. I want people to try it and experience it. And that was really my drive to get this back on shelf. And within a year, we got almost all of our distribution back. I found a partner, I found a co-manufacturer, and we did it, and we got it back on the shelf. But what drove me to do that and not to give up was my passion and conviction for the product to see this really succeed. I mean, we were at maybe 300,000 in revenue at that time per year. Now we're doing millions in revenue. So we went from almost on the brink of destruction and imploding to not only coming back and getting what we had before, but gaining and growing 10x since then. And of course, getting on Shark Tank, which gave us that nice online boost. So never give up.
I mean, you could just hear, just talking to you, the passion, the I'm not going to quit, attitude that you have, Alex. I mean, this is, what you're talking about, distribution. You're talking about harvesting in Thailand. I mean, these aren't things that you can, these are things that can destroy your business. If you don't have product, if you don't have people to make your product, then you're going out of business. And then like you said, you have 600 doors of customers. Hey, where's this product? Where is it at? Why is it delayed? Why isn't it come in? And managing all of that. So it sounds like you've built an incredible team. And again, with your drive, you're really able to conquer these challenges versus, some of us, right? We shy away from challenges. We shy away from hurdles. So guys, being an entrepreneur is going to really push your limits. It's really going to test you. Are you ready for that challenge? Do you really believe in your concept and your idea that when you have all the odds stacked against you, whether it's business partners, whether it's family, maybe it's just yourself, you're fighting yourself. Do you have that drive to not quit on yourself and to keep going and to keep trying? So as we sort of wrap up, what I want to know is how many locations are you currently in right now as of today?
We're at about 2,800 locations.
Wow. That's incredible. 2,800 locations. And are you spread out around the country, around the world, or where can people, our viewers, where can they find Genius Juice?
Well, the best thing that I recommend you do is you go on our website, geniusjuice.com, and there's a store locator. Okay. And you can find every store in the country that is offering Genius Juice. Okay. But typically, what we're doing is we're focusing on some independents, but medium to larger chains now. I think where this product does extremely well. So we're in about 2,600 stores right now. So you can find it in various stores across the country. But I'm going to list some right now so that for anyone watching this, you can find it hopefully in a store near you. So we're really proud about our partnership with Whole Foods. We're in the Southern California region, Arizona, Nevada. We're in Northern California, as you know, being from NorCal. You found it in the stores. We're also in the Rockies for Whole Foods. We're going into Pac Northwest early next year. And for those that are in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, we're also in all the Whole Foods out there. We're in Albertsons Vons Pavilions in Southern California. We're in Natural Grocers. We just launched in Target about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
So we're in Target in Southern California, NorCal, Pac Northwest, Mid-Atlantic, and also and Northeast. So a lot of great distribution gains, which gives me a lot of confidence that consumers are looking for a product like this. Especially with COVID, people are thinking like, what can I have that will be healthier so I can stay healthy and just take care of my body, right? So it's plant-based, it's organic, it has 5 or less ingredients, no junk in it. So like, that's really, I think, it's great timing for this product to really start growing because consumers are looking for products like this, healthier options in the stores. If you can't find it in stores, you can also buy it online. So geniusjuice.com. We love Amazon as well, but we prefer for you to go on Genius Juice. I think that could be a good place to buy it, and it goes to your door.
And just curious, what percentage of your sales, and I'm sure most people are like, what percentage of your sales are online versus just going to a traditional store? Do you know that by chance offhand?
Well, 2020 is definitely skewed because of Shark Tank. So we're doing about 35 to 40% online. Okay. Which I never would have dreamed we would have done that much online for a product that is perishable and it's expensive to ship, and it's not, it's not an easy product to take care of when it's shipping. It has 1 to 2 days to get there or it will go bad because it's a real product. And then about 65% of our sales are in retail. I expect online to go down next year and our retail to go up because nothing can beat the initial airing on Shark Tank when you get all those sales. But I will say this, is because of COVID, more people are ordering online now. Mm-hmm. I think there was an article with John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods, where he talked about retail may start, suffering is the wrong word, but sales may go down in retail, where more and more people are getting comfortable with buying product online, where it can be delivered to your door. You don't have to leave. You can be in your underwear in front of your computer, and then a day later you can get Genius Juice like cold to your door. And there's also Instacart, Amazon Prime Now, where you get it that same day within 2 hours. Like, I'm sure you've used it for grocery because you have 3 kids and not a lot of time on your hands, so it's easier to get it to your door. So I think online, one statistic I want to share, not to go too far off on a tangent, this year or last year, the percentage of consumers that bought groceries online delivered to their door was about 8%. After COVID hit, do you know what that percentage is now?
50%?
Not that much, but it's 25%.
Wow, okay. So
they were projecting by 2024 it would hit 25%. That came 4 years early because of changing trends and consumer habits. So I think it's important to also track the consumer habits and trends, going back to being agile and nimble, to like look at what's going on out there in the real world and society and what people are looking for and what's of value to them, and pivoting your business in that way to cater to consumers. And online is a perfect example of that. More people are ordering online, so we bumped up our advertising online a ton on Instacart and Amazon to get more people to see our product and buy it online.
Well, guys, that is a lot of helpful information, a lot of statistics, and Alex, I just want to thank you. I mean, again, you're a great friend of mine. We've gone, and I've seen you grow tremendously with Genius Juice. I was there at the beginning, when you just started it off as an idea, and I'm so proud of you and your accomplishments and what you've been able to do. And in closing, I have to ask you this: as our viewers, I can tell you personally, I've had this product. I've had dozens of bottles in my refrigerator. This stuff, doesn't last. We just drink this stuff like Mark Cuban, 3 bottles, in an hour of taping.
And I brought more for you here.
So for you guys out there, our viewers are definitely interested. So I'll have a link below, guys, so you can go ahead and buy Genius Juice. But I have to ask, is there a special discount that you can give to our viewers today? Those who are, want to try this product and, let us know.
Yeah, so the discount that you can use, super simple. When you check out on geniusjuice.com, put in the promotional code Genius30, just GENIUS, and then 30, the number 30, and you'll get 30% off your first order on geniusjuice.com.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Alex, for your time. Thank you, guys, if you made it this far watching this video. I'll have Alex's information also in the down in the link below. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll say adios. Bye-bye.